Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's podcast. I am really excited about this episode because I know it can save you months or even years of wasted time. The topic is simple. Don't waste your time learning English like this. So many learners of English spend countless hours studying, reading, watching videos, and yet after all of that, they can't have a confident conversation. They feel stuck. They feel like they're not improving fast enough. And it's not because they're not smart or not motivated. It's because they're using the wrong methods. In this podcast, I will show you the biggest mistakes English learners make, the learning styles that waste years, and what you should be doing instead. We're going to go deep. I'll tell you stories. I'll share examples. I'll give you little challenges you can do while listening. And by the end, you'll have a clear picture of what to avoid and what to focus on. So let's begin. Let's start with the classroom trap. Think about how most people learn English. They sit in a classroom. They listen to a teacher, read a textbook, or do exercises. This is the traditional way. And sure, it looks like learning. You're studying grammar, you're memorizing vocabulary, and you're passing exams. But then, after years of doing this, you meet a native speaker and suddenly you freeze. You can fill pages with grammar exercises, but you can't hold a 5-minute conversation. You can write down the meaning of a word, but you don't know how to use it in daily life. Let me tell you a story. A student I met from Mexico studied English for 10 years in school. 10 years. He could pass grammar tests with no problem, but when he traveled to the United States, he couldn't even order food in a restaurant. He felt embarrassed, frustrated, and so confused. How could 10 years of study still leave him unable to do the basics? The answer is simple. Classrooms often teach you knowledge about English, not the actual skill of speaking it. It's like learning all the rules of football without ever playing a real match. You know the theory, but you can't perform when it matters. That's the classroom trap. And if your only method of learning is textbooks and school-style lessons, you are wasting precious time. Now, let's move to another mistake, grammar obsession. Yes, grammar does matter. But here's the problem. Too many learners spend almost all their time focused on grammar rules and very little time on actually speaking. They believe that once their grammar is perfect, then they will be fluent. But think about this. When a baby learns to talk, do they learn grammar rules first? Of course not. They listen, they repeat, they make lots of mistakes, and slowly, naturally, grammar takes shape. I met a student from South Korea who memorized hundreds of grammar rules. He could explain the difference between the past perfect and the past continuous. But when he tried to talk to me, he couldn't maintain a simple conversation about his hobbies. The truth is this: fluency comes before grammar. Communication comes before perfection. If you spend 80% of your time on grammar drills and only 20% on speaking, you are wasting your time. You should flip it. Spend 80% of your time on speaking and listening and 20% on grammar. That balance will make you fluent much faster. Another big mistake is passive learning. You know what I mean. You watch English shows, you listen to English music, you read books in English, and yes, these are good things. But if all you do is passively consume, you will not get results. Think about it. You don't build muscles by watching other people at the gym. You only build muscles by moving your own body, lifting weights, running, sweating, putting in the work yourself. Learning English is the same. You can't just sit back and absorb. You need to use the language. I had a friend who watched the American TV show Friends for years. He loved it. He watched every single season multiple times. He thought this would make him fluent. But when he met real Americans, he could barely respond. Why, you ask? Because watching alone is not enough. He was passive. If you want to turn passive learning into active learning, here's how. When you watch a show, pause and repeat the sentences. Copy the actors. When you read a book, underline phrases and try to use them in your own sentences. When you listen to music, don't just enjoy the melody. Sing along, mimic the words, make it active. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. Now, let's talk about vocabulary lists. So many learners believe that if they memorize long lists of words, they'll become fluent. They sit down with flashcards, apple, orange, democracy, inflation, table, chair. The list could go on forever. They memorize hundreds of words. But here's the problem. Vocabulary without context is almost useless. Take the word run. If you only learn run, which could be move fast with your legs, you miss out on dozens of real uses, like run a business, run late, run out of money, run into a problem, or run away. If you don't see the words in real context, you won't understand how to use them. And when you try to speak, you'll get stuck. I knew a student who could list 500 English words in order. But when I asked him to describe his weekend, he froze. He had no idea how to put the words together. Don't waste your time with the random lists. Learn words in phrases, in conversations, in stories. That way, you know how to use them naturally. Here's another big mistake: waiting until you're ready. So many learners think, I'll start speaking when my grammar is better, or I'll practice when I have more vocabulary, or I'll talk when I feel ready. But here's the truth. You'll never feel ready. Fluency is not something you wait for. It's something you build through practice. And yes, practice means making mistakes. Mistakes are not proof of failure. Mistakes are proof that you are learning. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You can't do it without falling. You can't learn to swim without getting wet. And you can't learn to speak English without making mistakes. If you are waiting for perfection, you are wasting your time. Start speaking today, even if you're nervous. Now, let's shift. We've seen the mistakes. Let's talk about what actually works. First, listen every day. Fill your brain with English sounds, podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos. It doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. Even 15 minutes a day makes a big difference. Second, shadowing. This means you listen to a sentence and repeat it exactly as the speaker says it. Same speed, same rhythm, same intonation. It feels strange at first, but it does train your mouth and your ears. It makes you sound more natural. Third, speak daily. Don't wait for a perfect conversation partner. Talk to yourself. Record your voice. Speak to the mirror. If you do it every day, you will improve. Fourth, learn in chunks. Don't just memorize single words. Learn phrases like at the end of the day or it turns out that. Phrases make you sound fluent instantly. Fifth, connect emotion. Learn about topics you love. If you love football, watch English football commentary. If you love cooking, watch English recipe videos. If you love business, listen to English business podcasts. Emotion makes learning stronger. And finally, consistency. Do something every single day. Small steps every day are better than one giant step once a week. Now, let me share a few stories. Ahmed from Egypt studied English for years, but could barely speak. He changed his method: daily listening, daily speaking, daily shadowing, and then 6 months later, he was having confident conversations with tourists in Cairo. Sophia from Brazil loved music. She listened to American songs every single day. She wrote down the lyrics, sang along, and used those phrases in her conversations. In 1 year, she sounded like she had been living in the U.S. June from South Korea was obsessed with grammar. He sounded like a robot. Then he switched to learning in chunks and phrases, and after a few months, people told him he finally sounded natural. These stories are proof that wrong methods waste your time. The right methods work fast. I want you to remember something. English is not about being perfect. It's about connection. It's about communicating your ideas, your feelings, and your stories. If you're afraid of mistakes, you'll stay silent. And silence is the biggest waste of your time. It doesn't matter if you're 15 years old or 50 years old. I've seen people of all ages become fluent when they stopped wasting time on the wrong things and started practicing the right way. So let's review. Don't waste your time learning English like this. Don't get stuck in the classroom trap. Don't obsess over grammar. Don't rely on passive learning. Don't memorize endless lists. And don't wait for perfection. Instead, I need you to do this. Listen daily, shadow native speakers, speak every single day, learn in chunks, learn with emotion, and stay consistent. If you follow this, your progress will shock you. And now, I want to leave you with a challenge. Choose one of these better methods, just one, and practice it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. Share it with a friend who is learning English. Help them save their time too. And remember, don't waste your time. Make your time count. Before we end, let's quickly review a few words and phrases that I used. Freeze, when you feel nervous and can't speak. Shadowing, repeat exactly what a speaker says, imitating them. Chunk, a group of words that naturally go together. Robot speaking, speaking in a mechanical, unnatural way. Waste your time. Spend time, but get no result. Now you know them. Try to use them in your own sentence. This is the end of today's podcast. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep moving forward. You are close to fluency than you think. Thank you for listening.